Namaste, Jai Bharat. Hindi cinemas used to have their identities in the past. Such good movies were made in Bharat. Those black and white movies in 40s, 50s, and even 60s, up to 70s. Such meaningful, such good movies were made. They had made their standing, they had their identity, they had their popularity, and the movies had their acceptance. One can name, one can name the actors, one can name movies names. This is my younger days. Mostly black and white movies. Color came much later. Maybe when I was in high school, color came. The color became popular. Color was there. Color became popular. But black and white movies, those movies used to uh, make us comfortable. Make us comfortable. We rather enjoyed it, relaxed and enjoyed, and got something always to learn from them. But suddenly, there was a complete paradigm shift in the Hindi film area from this past kind of movies to some kind of new movies which just stopped making sense. At least to people like me, it stopped making sense. That's post the oil boom in the Middle East. Middle East is their expression, the Gulf. The oil boom, people's going to oil nations to earn, and money started getting pumped into Hindi film areas for various aspects. One thing is to turn black money into white money. Now, one can think how the black money comes and from where the black money comes. You can contemplate. I have no evidences to speak about it, but my nation definitely has evidences which is not accessible to me, and I don't want to give statistics. Even if I have, I wouldn't. Money used to come, and suddenly there was a demographic change in my nation. Real estate people became popular. Real estate mafia came. Money used to come. Money used to come from all kinds of sources. One is jihadi funding, who used to fund movies, Hindi movies. And there was a paradigm shift uh, in the movies, stories, characters, actors, actresses. The story has a common frame that one can see in most frames. The villain is always a Hindu Pandit. They would not target anyone less than Brahmin. That, of course. The villains mostly is Hindu Pandit with the big red tilak. And the heroes are explicitly or implicitly Muslims. The story is based on Hindu background. The actors, actresses are bearing Hindu names. Uh, Islam has nothing to do in the story. But then, suddenly, in background, one Islamic song gets played. This is not relevant and connected with the story. It has nothing to do with the story. It has nothing to do with any of the characters. But suddenly, a so-called Islamic song with some kind of expressions of divinity according to their faith gets played. Watch it. There are many such cases, incidents. Now, gradually, many other underground activities took place or used to take place in Hindi film. And this infiltration, I will call, jihadi infiltrations, destroyed Hindi cinemas completely. It had lost all its glory, all its name, all its fame. And the characters, the actors, have they ceased to be nationalist. People involved, there hardly anyone was nationalist. They ceased to be nationalist, and they upheld anti-nationalism as the in thing, or fashionable, or wanted, or liberalism, etc. Otherwise, others, people like us, we are conformists and they are liberals, and that kind of attitude developed. This, of course, completely destroyed Hindi movies, and then Hindi movies they are now, I think, as good as dead. The many strange characters who don't know how to really act. You compare them with the actors of the past, their involvement with the movies. Those things don't exist anymore. These new people, and now they have lost their grip, are rather losing their grip so fast. This kind of change, paradigm shift, took place in Hindi movies, and then a change comes with the South Indian, this Telugu movies implement, except Kerala. The South Indian movies are very traditional. Kerala had been destroyed by the communists long back. Just let's not discuss about Kerala. The other people, Telugus, Tamils, Kannadigas, they are very rooted in Bharatiya Sanskriti and tradition. Their movies, they were making movies in Hindi. That started making another paradigm shift back to tradition, back to Sanskriti, back to Bharat. The Chandramouli, who was making Bahubali movies, and many such movies are coming. So these days, whatever popular movies we see in Hindi are South Indian produced in Hindi, and sometimes they dub it in other languages as well. That, of course, nowadays is common. You search any of the OTT, you find many languages. But primarily, original Hindi movies, they start making. When the South Indians start making Hindi movies, there is a gradual, at least it promising, comeback of Hindi films to the ancient possible glory. But in between, there was this medieval darkness. I'm using the word in European context. There was this medieval darkness in Hindi movie history. There were spurious characters. There were strange characters. There were anti-national actors who said, if BJP comes to power, I will leave India and go and live somewhere else. I will leave India and go and live somewhere else. They, of course, made such statements like film dialogues, and no one has left Bharat. They still live here. No one has left. So this paradigm shift is now slowly emerging in the Hindi film, and at the same time, because of stronger national policies, jihadi funding is getting reduced. This jihadi funding had destroyed primarily the demography, destroyed the economic structure of Bharat, because suddenly there was estate mafia. There were real estate people, real estate mafia. Land used to be brought for exorbitant prices from primarily Hindu-owned lands, Hindu others, by a certain group of people. They constructed, and I could sell my land to someone with whatever money I asked for. That situation came into existence because there was a time. This again I heard in report. I haven't gone and seen personally, so mine is only retelling what I heard. There was a time that container full of Pakistan printed fake currencies used to come to Bharat. Container full. That used to go to certain people. It used to get circulated into our nation, and primarily with the objective of destroying our economy, Bharat's economy, and enriching the people and providing for jihadi activities. And in Kashmir in the past, stone pelting boys used to be given 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees, 8 something like that daily for going and throwing some stones at the army, CRPF, or any of the security forces. Now this is stopped because money stopped coming. There are fake currencies, and some people among us in that time in governors had been either careless or supportive of these fake currencies coming from Pakistan, by virtue of letting them know from where we buy. the paper required to print currency, and not forbidding then that company that not to give this to others. You can go through the news and find out who the person is. I won't say the name without having any proof. But then these are the narratives I had through media. Media, but could be right, could be not right. But there are indicators for people to understand. That's why I say this. They are indicators for people to make understandings of their own, not to go into any kind of overt action, but for your understanding alone. So this situation had changed. Why demonetization was done just like that? It has its own purpose, much more than what we understand. They had to do it, and that required courage, which our rulers have had, and have. So, nationalism is now becoming strong. Things are changing. This gets reflected in the film also. They are all, this films, literature, theatre, are state apparatus, ideological state apparatus, as Althusser, the communist, used to say in his book. Ideological state apparatus used to put people into that kind of hegemony and deception. Ideological deception, that is intellectual legitimization of social consciousness domination, which he says, I will talk about consciousness which is spuriously created. So this kind of things. So Hindi cinema is an indicator. Past, the kind of Hindi cinemas we got are forgotten, and future we should have better movies. The medieval period, like Europe used to be. Later, some of the good historians of European historians call it as dark period. Nothing emerged; they remained in dark. So this is the situation in Hindi cinema. Let's not be over enthusiastic about the show of Hindi cinema, which of course doesn't exist anymore. We shall meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Sri Ram.